So, Assalamu alaikum. Now we are going to take up further the general aspects of the cardiovascular system. Today we are going to discuss about anastomosis and the lymphatic vascular system, lymphatic system. Anastomosis is the communication between two vessels, and this is going to be a network between communication, a pathway between two vessels, and this is going to provide a collateral channel and shunt vessel. There are three types of anastomosis: arterioarterial anastomosis, veno-venous anastomosis, and the arteriovenous anastomosis. Arterioarterial anastomosis, as the name indicates, is the anastomosis between two arteries. This can be further divided into heterocladic or homocladic. Homo means same, hetero means different. Homocladic arterial anastomosis is the one in which the branches of same arteries are going to anastomose and join with one another. For example, anastomosis between the branches of superior mesenteric artery, which supplies your GI tract, branches of profunda femoris artery in the lower limb, they anastomose and provide us collateral circulation. Heterocladic anastomosis is the one in which different branches of two different arteries are going to anastomose. For example, branches between superior and inferior mesenteric artery anastomose with another, branches of radial and ulnar arteries in the upper limb anastomose, and the circle of Willis, which is seen in the brain, they have different arteries which anastomose with one another. Likewise, anastomosis around your knee joint, elbow joint, scapula, they have heterocladic anastomosis as well. So veno-venous anastomosis is the one in which the different tributaries of vein, they form a network, and this is known as venous anastomosis. It can be seen in the dorsal venous arch of the hand, in the dorsum of the foot, and between the tributaries of the saphenous vein. Then you have anastomosis, a connection between arteries and veins. This is known as the arteriovenous anastomosis. And this is of three different types: arteriovenous anastomosis. It is simple or preferential thoroughfare channel, and then you have a glomera, also known as complex AV anastomosis. So first of all, we are going to discuss simple AV anastomosis. This is also known as the simple AV anastomosis is a direct, almost straight communication between branches of small muscular arteries and their corresponding veins. The connecting vessel is straight with thick muscular coat and narrow lumen. It is innervated by sympathetic nerves, so the control is totally nervous. When it is open, the AV anastomosis is open, the blood is bypassed to exclude the capillary network. So when the AV shunt is open, the simple anastomosis is open between the muscular arteries and corresponding veins, the blood doesn't pass through the capillary network. It directly passes from arteries into the veins. This can be seen in the skin of the nose, from where usually epistaxis, jisko naxir kehte hain, nikalti hai from the skin of the nose. Then in the mucosa of the nose, in the external ear, erectile tissue of the external genitalia. So simple anastomosis, you see, arterial blood directly into the venous blood, simple anastomosis, straight channel. It bypasses the capillary network. Then you have a preferential thoroughfare channel. Preferential thoroughfare channel is the route that is preferred. It is most common. In this, the terminal arteriole is going to connect with the venule. This channel also gives side branches in the form of capillaries. Each capillary side branch has at its origin a pre-capillary sphincter. Such a channel, along with its branches, form a microcirculatory functional unit. When it works in accordance with the oxygen requirement of the tissue. These provide alternate routes for blood flow when the circulation is not required through the usual route, depending upon the local metabolic states. These channels are formed almost at all sites of the body. The thoroughfare channels are specialized capillary, which vary from the true capillaries. True capillaries are highly sensitive to oxygen and they have precapillary sphincters. Thoroughfare channels, the precapillary sphincters are not present, but they have smooth muscles here. The thoroughfare channels are larger. True capillaries open on demand on metabolism. Thoroughfare channels are permanently open and they act as a bypass so that the blood is not utilized by the tissues. True capillaries arise as side branches of thoroughfare channels at precapillary sphincters, while thoroughfare channels give origin to precapillary sphincters. So they enter into the true capillaries. So preferential thoroughfare channels, they are a connection between the terminal arterioles and the venules, and as at the side branches, they form capillaries, and at the start of these capillaries, there are precapillary sphincters, and this whole circuit forms a microcirculatory unit. It is situated in all sides of the body. So this is a thoroughfare channel. This is the terminal arteriole, and this is the terminal venule. This is the thoroughfare channel, and these are the side capillary network. The thoroughfare channel gives capillaries at side branches, and at the start of these capillaries, you have these precapillary sphincters. When the sphincters are open, the blood from the arteriole is going to pass through the true capillaries and then into the venules and vein. When the sphincters are closed and they are tightened, when they are closed, the blood from the arteriole, terminal arteriole, passes into the terminal venule, and it bypasses the capillaries. It is not going to go into the capillaries, and the precapillary sphincters are now closed. Precapillary sphincters are present at the side branches of the capillaries from the thoroughfare channels, and they are, when they are closed, the blood is going to bypass the capillaries. So in a simple AV anastomosis, blood passes from the arteriole directly into the venule. And in the thoroughfare channel, the blood from the terminal arteriole passes into the terminal venule, and as a side branches, it's going to give rise to capillaries. And when the precapillary sphincters are closed, the blood is going to directly pass from arterioles into venules. But when the precapillary sphincters are open, then the capillary channel is going to be open. Then you have glomerula. In this, you see glomerular structure S-shaped. The arteriole is in the form of sinuses. Sinus means S-shaped. These vessels are called sinuses and somewhat possess more complicated structure. They are seen in the digits of your fingers, the digit pads, corium of hands, and nail bed. So complex AV anastomosis, also known as glomerula, they are seen in the digit pads, nail beds, and corium of hands. Function is to regulate the regional blood flow, and they regulate the body temperature through the skin, especially in the corium of hands, digits, and nail beds. They are going to open up, and they are going to help in the evaporation of heat and cooling of the body. They have a cooling effect. You see in the dogs, they pant by taking out their tongue. They also have glomeruli in the tongue. The tongue is going to radiate the heat out. And this is going to help in the regulation of temperature, body temperature, and also blood pressure regulation. So this is a simple network: artery, then arterioles, capillary network, venule, vein, and back to the heart. In AV shunt, arteriole is going to shunt its blood directly into the venule, bypassing the capillary network. Portal system, you have two sets of capillaries. This one set, then the other set of capillaries, finally draining into the systemic veins. What are end arteries? And we have discussed it in the last lecture. End arteries are the arteries which have no collateral anastomosis. They do not have anastomosis in any of their corresponding arteries or branches, or no anastomosis at capillary level. So, and anastomosis versus anastomosis, they have alternate route of supply. So when end arteries are blocked, that is going to lead to complete necrosis and death of the tissue. Central artery of the retina is an anatomical end artery. It has no anastomosis at any level. Cerebral arteries are also end arteries. It is going to lead to infarct, brain infarct if they are occluded. If the arteries, segmental arteries of kidneys and liver are occluded, this is going to also lead to infarct. So these are end arteries. They have no anastomosis. Now coming on to the second component of the cardiovascular system. First was the blood vascular system, now lymph vascular system. Lymph vascular system includes the fluid here that is going to circulate is the lymph. And lymph is an enriched fluid with proteins and lymphocytes. It is going to circulate in the vessels known as lymphatic vessels. And you have lymphoid organs as well in this system. Lymphoid organs consist of aggregation of lymphocyte and associated cells in which they are formed. They are connected with the lymphatic vessels to form the lymph. The lymphoid tissues and the organs includes the lymphoid nodes, nodules, and the lymphoid organs. Lymph tissue is formed at the arterial end of the capillaries, and most of it is returned back to the circulation by the venous end of the capillaries. But 10 to 20% of the tissue fluid passes into the blind ending lymphatic vessels known as the lymph vessels. And it also traverses through this route, it traverses the lymph nodes and the lymph nodules, and finally returns back to the venous system. This forms a hemocirculation. The lymph vessels of the thyroid gland, esophagus, coronary, and triangular ligament of the liver are exceptions because these do not traverse the lymph nodes and pass directly into the venous system through the thoracic duct. Lymph is rich in protein, colloid material, macromolecules, cell debris, microorganisms, and cells, including lymphocytes and others. So lymph is formed when the blood at the arterial and the hydrostatic pressure forces the water and small proteins into the tissue spaces. This fluid is provides nutrition to the tissue, and tissue fluid is again absorbed into the capillaries, but some of it enters into the lymphatic capillaries. The tissue fluid that enters the lymphatic capillaries is known as the lymph. So here you can see artery, capillary network, and vein. At the arterial end, as the pressure is high, the plasma is forced out of the capillary to form the tissue fluid. It surrounds the cells and the tissues. Then at the venous end, it is going to return back into the vein, but excess of it is going to the tissue fluid drains into the lymphatic capillaries, and this forms the lymph. Lymphatic capillaries are blind-ended, more irregular, and have a wider caliber than those of the adjacent capillaries. They have a wider caliber than the adjacent capillaries. Lymph from most of the tissue is clear and colorless, while lymph from the intestines is milky white in color because it is rich in fat globules, chylomicrons, and it is known as chyle here. While lymph capillaries in the small intestine are also known as lacteals. So lymph in the intestine is known as chyle, and lymph capillaries are known as lacteals. Lymph capillaries are present almost in all tissues of the body except avascular structures. We studied the avascular structure, which was epidermis, cornea, cartilage, hair, and nail. The lymph is also absent in the central nervous system. ये भी बहुत important MCQ है. Lymph is absent in the central nervous system and the bone marrow. And lymph is very few in endomysium of skeletal muscle. Lymphatic vessels are cylinder and difficult to see during dissection. They can be only seen by injection of some colored dyes like Indiana ink, Persian blue dye, methylene blue if we inject it. There are two types of lymphatic vessels, superficial lymphatic vessels and deep. Superficial are located close to the skin and the superficial fascia, and they accompany the veins to drain into the superficial lymph nodes. Deep vessels are located into the deep fascia and viscera, and they usually accompany the arteries to drain the deep lymph nodes. So the superficial vessels are just beneath the skin and they drain the superficial lymph nodes, and the deep vessels are present in the deep fascia and viscera, and they drain the deep lymph nodes. Functions of lymphatics are drainage of lymph fluid, absorption and transport of fat from the small intestine, and they are a part of your immune defense mechanism of the body. So the lymphatic vessels, they collect lymph from the lymph capillaries. So this is the arteriolar end, capillary network, and the venular end. So lymph tissue fluid is formed here. Tissue fluid is going to enter into the lymph capillaries. Lymph capillaries are going to drain into the, when it is going to pass towards the lymph vessels, it is going to pass through some lymph nodes, and then finally it is going to drain into the heart. So you have a right lymphatic duct and on the left thoracic duct. Lymphatic vessels collect tissue fluid from the connective tissue and carry the fluid to the great veins in the neck. Fluid flow is towards the heart. So this is the tissue fluid which becomes lymph when it enters the lymphatic capillaries, and lymphatic vessels, the lymphatic capillaries form lymphatic vessels, and on their way they traverse through lymph nodes where immune reaction and it is going to be where immune reaction is going to take place, lymph nodes, and then lymphatic duct and lymphatic trunk draining into the veins and the subclavian veins in the neck. One-way flow, the lymph flows in one-way direction towards the heart from lymphatic capillary, lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, then lymphatic trunk, collecting duct, and finally draining into the subclavian veins. Factors which influence the formation of lymph are the increase in the hydrostatic pressure at the arteriolar end, which is going to force the fluid out, tissue fluid, and formation of lymph. Increase in the capillary surface area, and increase in the capillary permeability. Like when there is allergic reaction, histamine, bradykinin, it is going to open up the capillaries and increase in the tissue fluid formation and lymph formation. Increased functional activity is also going to increase the formation of lymph. And the factors which help the flow of lymph, they are almost same that the factors that help the venous return. Well, lymph vessels also have valves which promote one-way direction of flow of the lymph towards the heart. Then the movement of the muscles are also going to help in the upward direction of the press the lymph vessel and help in the pushing up of the lymph fluid. Then the pulsation of the adjacent arteries are also going to help the lymph flow, and the negative intrathoracic pressure is also going to help in the lymph to be pulled upwards towards the heart. Lymphoid tissue classification, this is going to be discussed in your histology classes, but a journal outview, I'm going to tell you that primary lymphatic organs and there are secondary lymphatic organs. Primary lymphatic organs are present just like they're present before birth, like thymus and bone marrow. They are going to produce your lymphoid cells, the T cells and B cells, B lymphocytes. Secondary lymphatic organs are simple, intermediate, and some lymphoid organs. Simple are diffuse, solitary lymph nodes, and aggregate of lymph nodes. Then you have tonsils and lymphoid organs and lymph nodes and spleens. They are secondary lymphoid organs. So it is a lymph node. How does it filters the lymph? Unfiltered lymph enters the lymph nodes. Here you have immune reaction going on between the T cells. You have it is going to kill the pathogens and remove the waste product, and filtered lymph is going to be carried out. Some important clinical correlates regarding to your cardiovascular system. This includes the relation in accordance to your CVS, arteriosclerosis. Arteriosclerosis. Sclerosis means hardening. Arterio means arteries. So it is the hardening or loss of elasticity of medium or large arteries. Arteries become hardened, lose their elasticity. Then you have arteriolosclerosis. This is the loss of hardening or loss of elasticity in arterioles, small arteries. Arteriosclerosis was for medium and large artery. Arteriolosclerosis is for arterioles. Then you have atherosclerosis. Athero means means atheroma, plaque that develops that forms in the arteries and leads to the hardening of the artery. Atherogenic is any substance or process that causes atherosclerosis. And atherogenesis is the process of formation of atheromatous plaque in the arteries. So arteriosclerosis is the hardening of the arteries. Arteriolosclerosis is the hardening of the arterioles. Atherosclerosis is the formation of atheroma in the arteries leading to hardening of the arteries. Atherogenesis is the formation of the atheromatous plaques. Atherosclerosis, what are the causes? It starts with the initial damage of the endothelium, inner layer of the arteries. And it can be caused by high blood pressure, high cholesterol, lipid in the blood, any irritant, nicotine, smoking can lead to atherosclerosis, and certain diseases like diabetes. So in the intima, innermost layer, this is intima, this is media, and then adventitia. This is the normal artery, normal blood flow. Then in this artery, you have damaged endothelium. When the endothelium is damaged, the lipid is going to collect here, lipid and calcium deposits, foams are going to form, macrophages are going to form foam cells, and this is going to lead to atheromatous plaque in the intimal layer. And this is going to lead to hardening of the vessels and increased blood pressure. Varicose veins. What are varicose veins? Varicose veins is a condition in which walls of the veins lose their elasticity and they become weak and varicose. Varicose means enlarged and tortuous, dilated. So you see dilated, tortuous veins. So veins are going to lose their elasticity. The varicose veins tend to dilate under the pressure of the blood against gravity. So these can result from incompetent valves. When the valves are inflamed, when the valves are inflamed, infected, this is going to lead to varicose veins. And this can also lead, can occur in obesity, and when the person doesn't moves, static conditions mein hota hai, doesn't moves around, so the veins lose their elasticity, and the way blood is going to collect and the veins are going to form these tortuous veins. Now coming on to the clinical correlates relating to the lymph system. What is lymphangitis? जब भी itis का word आएगा, itis, it means inflammation. Angitis, vessels, or lymph vessels. So lymphangitis, it is the inflammation of lymph vessels. It can occur in any infection, any disease, and the lymph vessels appear on the skin as red streaks. Lymphadenitis. Adenitis lymph is the infection of lymph nodes. It can be acute or chronic. And the common cause of lymphadenitis is fever. Usually your lymph nodes are not palpable, but they become palpable when they are inflamed and infected. And they can be infected in fever, tuberculosis, in any carcinoma. Lymphedema. Lymphedema is when there is the lymph vessels become obstructed, and they lead to the accumulation of lymph fluid in it. And this leads to lymphedema. There is accumulation of lymph fluid. And this is commonly seen in filariasis, a parasitical disease in which lymph vessels are blocked, and this leads to the enlargement of the lower limbs. उसमें जो है limbs बहुत ज़्यादा फूल जाते हैं because lymph becomes obstructed and lymph, there is no way to get it out. Enlarged lymph nodes can be central group of lymph nodes in the upper limb, just on along the medial side of the upper limb. They can be a cause of some carcinoma of the breast. Or जब भी lymph nodes enlarge, you must see the surrounding organ as well. कि कहाँ से ये आ रहा है, because the spread of cancer can be primarily through the homogeneous way through the blood, and it can be also through the lymphatic vessels. So cancer can spread through blood as well as lymph vessels, and lymph vessels say it can involve the other lymph nodes as well. So whenever the lymph nodes are enlarged, you must examine for carcinoma as well. So now coming on to the end, I would thank you. If you have any questions or queries, do feel free to ask me. Thank you.